I'm gonna make this quick video about this video right here. I'm finna analyze this video, fair use. There are certain things in this video that sticks out to me, certain things this woman says. This is MC27 channel, falling black hole and wormhole systems. It is certain things that stick out to me in this video about certain stuff she said about ripping you away from your original framework or your divine blueprint, or creating a synthetic alternate current and all this stuff right here. So when you listen to this, use your discernment when you listen to this, because there are certain things in here she says I don't agree with, but then there's other things she says that I'm putting the pieces together about what she means. And yeah, I'm just gonna let this video play out, and yeah, I'm just critiquing it.
Right now what's taking place with the fallen angelic legions, it is not a battle in our world of good versus evil. It is a battle in their world of good versus evil. And they like to call us the evil ones because we're trying to anchor the divine blueprint, and that's against what their objectives are. When you find out what the objectives are, it'll blow your mind, at least it did mine. It has to do with something called phantom matrix. Phantom matrix is a black hole sub-time distortion system that was created 250 billion years ago in this time matrix. It was not originally part of the divine blueprint. It was one of those accidents that can happen through free will and the ability of having probability. This is what we've been trying to heal. The founders have been trying to heal for 250 billion years. But the phantom matrix is the location from which the fallen angelic races are coming and contacting here. Because the reversals in our DNA that were created through the grids are being used right now to amplify the reversals in the planetary grids to get Earth under complete reversal so it can be drawn into phantom matrix, where it would become a satellite of the planet Nibiru. Which would mean that transition is not going to be pretty if Earth actually gets drawn into that black hole system. Fallen, phantom, and imploding black hole systems. This is our quadrant 4, our 𝑭𝒂𝒑, yeah, it is quadrant, okay, yeah, not quarter. Quadrant 4, the black hole holes into, first, phantom. Now this is a different angular rotation of particle spin. This axis represents the same thing in their matrix as our central axis. So they are at the phantom matrix, fell, and it is at this axis in relation to our grids. And you would see there would be a Cathara grid, okay, in its own, but it would be too complicated on the drawing. The 𝑭𝒂𝒍𝒂 axis interface is this way. And they don't just do it in our quadrant. They do it as well in the parallel quadrant. So there's these Cathara grids link through into both here and parallel. And the holes are actually positioned in through here. What they're trying to do is use these to fully take down the 𝒂𝒂. They're after the 𝒂𝒂 inner earth gates. Because if they can take that down, they can go through the center and take the whole stack. And then they can become creator gods for gosh knows how long after they eat that much of the universe. That's their plan. Remember, we had our gate system coming down this way, universal gates, our galactic gates over here. Well, here we have, and I put the Cathara grids in this time, their Stargate system that is built on a mutated version of Cathara, that is of the Cathara grids of the gate system. There are the phantom matrix gates, and then there are the 𝑭𝒂𝒑 matrix gates that come in this way. There is up in here, in this little jumble of all sorts of little dots. You can probably see it better on your maps, and if you can't, there is, like, in the, where do we introduce these? We introduced these in the Metatron program, I think. Yeah, I think these ended up as part of the Dance for Love program. It shows you more clearly on the bigger one, but there is...
Over here, on this, on the right side, it says Destiny 2. Or Second Destiny. Whatever that means. I'm gonna wait. Maybe she'll explain what that is. If she don't, I have my own interpretation to it. I want her to tell me what it means, though.
A combination where the gates interface with each other. It's called the 666 combination. Gate 6 here, Gate 6 Phantom, Gate 6 𝑭𝒂𝒍𝒆. It allows for something very interesting to take place. Their frequencies in 𝑭𝒂𝒍𝒆, which is a reverse matrix set of frequencies that carries Metatronic coding, they interface with Phantom from their Gate 7 into Phantom Gate 6 and back through their Gate 6. Now what they're doing is creating an artificial life force current, an artificial light field. It is, if you take a reverse current...
She said an artificial life force current. That's very interesting.
D6 and a reverse current D7. Guess what you get? D13 reverse. Okay? It's an artificial template. It is the equivalent, but isn't the equivalent, of a false divine blueprint that is the Antichristos divine blueprint. What it turns into is what's called the flaming blue sword. It is a current. It's called the flaming blue sword for a reason, and I'll show you that. I don't think it's in this workshop. We get more into when we discuss it. Actually, it might be. Yeah, it is down here. I'll show you right where the flaming blue sword happens. Down here.
It says, it showed that eye right there, and it says aliens of Metatron, and it says inorganic wormhole created by sound light frequencies, deviation from destiny for fallen races, electronic blue sword, Metatronic 11.5D reverse current, Antichristos. I'm looking at all these words on the right hand side. That's very interesting.
Here, in the bottom, with this 666 gate interface that takes place, that's the cross, can directly come through and blast down our central vertical axis, which is what they're trying to do right now. If we look at the bottom diagram here, this is showing, again, our two densities. Remember how we had the astral body with our radio bodies, where it showed normal radio bodies? Well, this is just showing it on a planetary, or like, think about it as a universal level for now. It also goes down to into every little piece. If this happens on the universal level, it's also happening galactic, it's also happening planetary, and it's also happening in your bodies. There are these electrostatic fields that are created that are called the net, the Nibiruan electrostatic transduction field. The net is formed by a series of implants that were placed in the grids called the 4 black hearts of Metatron. They're connected to a bunch of things called the eyes of Metatron, and there's a bunch of those that are smaller ones, but it's these 4 black hearts of Metatron. Now this has been going on in this system for 570 million years when they started to put in this is called the apparatus of the beast. And beast stands for blank slate technology, but the Guardians call it the beast. Because what it will do is will literally rip this whole matrix out of its original divine blueprint.
She said blank slate technology. Born again, rebirth, regeneration. What is it? I don't know, we're asking questions.
It will rip off our 𝑭𝒂𝒂 if they have their way. It would take our 𝑭𝒂𝒂, whole 𝑭𝒂𝒂 down, and cut it off from the Akasha, the Akasha-A, the Akasha-Aya, the Rushe, and the divine eternal source of creation. This is what they're trying to do because they need food. They're hungry. That these black hearts, these are things that unnaturally, they're crystalline technologies that are put in the core of planets and stars that take frequencies from the 𝑭𝒂𝒍𝒆 matrix and artificially combine them, force them into combining. It's like machinery, like our scientists force things together that don't belong together, like mice and ears, human ears. You know, remember the picture of the mouse with the ear growing on its back? There's something not natural about this. I don't care how many people need new ears. All right. Well, the black hearts take frequency and do that. You just got that. They blend frequencies artificially, and they create for them over here a false D13 current that they try to make a divine blueprint out of. It's a divine blueprint that can't self-sustain. It absolutely requires frequency to be sucked from the living matrix through the phantom matrix into the 𝑭𝒂𝒍𝒆 black hole system. Now, they created the phantom matrix. We had a little black hole problem that happened because of some of our own guys getting twisted in Lyra 250 billion years ago and getting into a fight with each other and blowing up Stargate 12. That created the black hole here. It was kept open. The phantom matrix black hole was kept open so we could help those races heal, our own races. They were part of our own family lines. They belonged in this time matrix. They weren't from some mother 𝑭𝒂𝒂. But when the 𝑭𝒂𝒍𝒆 issue happened 150 billion years ago and their matrix fell, then they finally figured out a way to use this black heart system to slowly and painfully plug in to form an artificial life support current as long as they could draw frequency from the living matrix. They combined it through this frequency bridge that's run through the black hearts. These go all the, like all you see in here is the two densities. This would go up to D11.5. This corruption level goes up to D11.5. That's why you can get D11.5 dark avatars. They can lie through their teeth and they're so pretty if they want to give you a pretty hologram, and they can walk you right off the edge of a cliff like a lemming if you don't know what to look for. Now, the black hearts are the technologies that take two sets of frequencies and force them into combination and braid them together to form an artificial D13 reverse current. That current comes out to be a flaming blue color, an electric blue flame. And it crosses down through the system and it crosses over into all of the radial bodies and the other systems through the crossover point, which happens through the gate 6, 7, and 6 combination, and then flows through the other 6. The 6, 6, 6 combination are where the gates all line up, and the 7 is what they use on their side to combine the 6 currents to make the artificial D13 current, which is a full D13 reverse current. It's not as strong as a natural divine blueprint D12 current, but it's almost strong enough to override a whole divine blueprint D12 in the natural system, which is what they're trying to do. They call it the fire sword initiation, the flaming blue sword of an angel whose name I don't think I have to mention. But I have a million times already, and I haven't been zapped dead yet. The flaming blue sword of our dearly beloved Archangel Michael. This is one of the programs of human hijack that's been taking over this planet. You know, it's like a lot of people in the UFO movement run around looking for spaceships saying, I think we're being invaded, I think we're being invaded. Where are they? Where are they? Try the New Age movement. They're not coming from outside this way. They're coming from inside this way. They're teaching us technologies to zap ourselves. We have implants in our bodies that correspond to the 4 black hearts of Metatron. We have a whole bunch of other messes. These are the blockages in our DNA template that keep us fragmented where we can't remember anything. That's why we're once an evolved race that was like avatars that knew how to go through stargates at will and all that. We used to have that natural protection, the flames in our field. That was all taken away because of the Nibiruan electrostatic transduction field that's run through the beast apparatus, which is a whole bunch of apparatus. There's energy sucking tubes, there's energy throwing tubes. What it creates is electrostatic fields that block the natural function of our radio bodies. It shuts off the Rheon field's ability to flow into the manifest systems here, and it reverses where we are supposed to have a trion field, light field on the outside, miage field, sound field on the inside, and then an eros. It reverses the outside to become a miage field. Miage corresponds to sound, corresponds to vibration, corresponds to magnetism. Pulling field. Now normally you have the pulling field here and a transmitting field here. We transmit out into the world. That's what a normal being does in a normal matrix. What they've created is an energy vampire, where literally anything in that matrix, anything right now, 2/3 of us are like this, 2/3 of our bodies function on this, where we are literally have our trion miage field inside out. We are sucking energy from our environment. We're sucking it in to this part that used to be our eros, but in the mutated part of our light bodies, and the planet's light body, and the universe's light body, This is not Eros at the moment. It is an artificially thrown in frequency of D8. It's gold color. It's a D8 gold. It is a mana energy, what they call the mana energy. And this is what they're hijacking to feed their system. So they've created a shadow in a...
So they're hijacking mana. Energy.
by breaking off part of our template and throwing it over into reversal so they can link directly through with feeding tubes. And what they want to do through those tubes is eventually open the tubes up and roll the whole thing in. We're in the middle of that drama right now. This drama is very, very old. Ever since Atlantis, something called the Lucifer Rebellion went down. There's all sorts of deals trying to be made where the Guardians are trying to get these guys to stop this. Say, listen, we'll help, any of you that can be helped, we'll try to find a way to help you bioregenerate, or at least to help ease your misery in the system you created for yourself, if you will stop this diabolical plan of trying to take this matrix down. There were agreements called the Palladian-Syrian agreements that were made in 1992 that for a while held, but when the gates started to open in 2000, they were completely broken by the groups who entered them, who were the ones teaching the new ascension stuff that isn't ascension stuff, it's descension stuff, and war was declared by the other side. We were told to get out, take 50,000 of the indigos and leave the rest. And council said, no, we don't do that. We're here to help for the long run.
That's all I wanted to really show. It's just certain parts of the video that interest me. That's all about what she said. Let's see. Is there a link to this video? Facebook. Yeah, that's it for now. That's all I wanted to show. Very interesting.